Yo, it's your man Jam C.
Yo, it's your roving reporter, your girl Shy Money.
And it's your boy Lord Luke Bim.
He's in the building, back from his large kingdom with lots of peasants and servants.
With my harem around me.
With his harem.
In his one-room kingdom.
One-room mansion.
That's all right, long as the harem is there to support. Yo, we back at it, people like crack addicts. Thanks for joining us, yo. So, fellas, nice to see y'all.
Likewise.
I kind of missed y'all. I kind of missed you.
I think we miss each other. We text each other throughout the week because it's like we can't wait to get back in the studio.
Yo, our group chats be wild, yo.
Yeah.
They be wild.
You miss us. We can talk every day.
Yo, the group chats be wild. I'm in between meetings, group chatting with these guys, laughing, snickering on the meetings. That's crazy. We keep it fun. It don't end when we finish taping these sessions, so I like that. So we always have lots of energy.
I got a $11 cash app request in the group chat. I said, I'll send you 11, but I need 66 to cover this bill I'm at.
All right.
Yeah, everybody was out doing their own individual things this weekend, getting a little recreation. That's always important. But otherwise, how was your weeks, guys?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was good. I had no complaints. I'm glad it's cooling off. It's not hot. I cannot take this heat. Winter. I'm inviting you. Please hurry up and get here. Hurry up.
I like the winter too.
I'm not a winter kid. You know, it's weird because I'm a child of the fall. Now I could rock with the fall. I don't like winter. I could do spring. I could do summer. I'm a 3-season guy.
Yeah, I like the
fourth season. We got beef.
The only thing about the winter I don't like is shoveling. That's nasty. But everything else, bring it.
I love it. I got good outerwear. And I look good in the hat, so I'm here for the fall and the winter. Definitely love the winter. Yo, so my week started off really good. As we got to the end, I got a little emotional. I had got my little face beat, and I had got some lashes on, and I was planning to come to the show with the lashes on, but I cried them off. I had a human moment with one of the little babies. You know, we ran into someone that grew up in my neighborhood who unfortunately has fallen on hard times, which a lot of people do. And I just am never one to try to ignore these people when I come in contact with them, because these were people that I knew from my neighborhood, might have been a classmate. And there's this one guy that I see frequently because he kind of frequents the area that we grew up in Newark. And so whenever I see him, I check in on him, help him out however I can. And I came into contact with him on Thursday, and I only had $1 in cash. Mm-hmm. And so I committed to coming back the next day. Even though I had no plans to be in the area, I committed to him to come back and do something nice for him. So I go back on Friday, and I'm looking for him in his usual area. I spent 15 minutes looking for this guy, and I could not sleep. I don't know, for some reason I had this overwhelming sense of worry about him. And so then I just go back on Saturday. I'm on day 3 back in the old neighborhood, and I'm looking for him. And I see him, and I felt so happy when I saw him. I bust a U-turn in the middle of the street. I'm blowing the horn at him. And I'm like, where were you? Where were you? So everybody's looking like this lady's pulling up in a car, all dressed up, looking at this guy. And I'm like, I was all over him, like, where were you? I was looking for you yesterday, and blah, blah, blah. All the people were like, you know him? I'm like, yeah, this is my friend. This is my friend. I just can never, forget about those people, and I can't front on them, if they've fallen on hard times. And then, so I had a baby, one of those smaller kids were in the car with me, and so, she's not accustomed to seeing people who are down in their luck, so she asked me who it was, and I explained it to her as best I can to a 6-year-old, and she said, well, why did you give him money? I said, well, he needed to get food, and he doesn't work, and if you don't work, you don't have money, so you can't buy food in the house. Yo, she said the darndest thing, well, Mimi, he can just come live with us. I'm locked, loaded, crying. Next thing you know, my eyelash slide. So I lost my eyelashes. I was crying. It was just so sweet, out of the mouth of babe. So I just, I'm glad I was able to help this gentleman out. And, I just encourage people, if you see people down on their luck, you never know, how they got in those situations. Like I always say, there by the grace of God, go I. It could be any one of us. At any time, so be a little kinder. So that was my moment. of really feeling connected and being human and trying to help somebody out and not trying to put it on social media while I'm handing them the money. I ain't really into it like that. I do it from the heart. So
Shout out to you.
Thanks
for
for telling my story. Thanks for letting me get the upstairs.
Shout out to you for that. I think what people have to understand is when we say things like going vocal, it's not to be, everything doesn't have to be public. I think going vocal is mind, body, and it's movement. So I think, doing that is what you did, is what we always do. We go vocal every day. And I think it's not just what you say, it's what you do. And you like, as you can see, audience, Shy Money exemplifies greatness of what we want to, what we attribute ourselves to want to be.
Yeah.
So going vocal isn't always what we say, it's about what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
It doesn't just happen in these four walls when we're taping and bringing you entertainment and content. It really is what we embody when we go out in the world and we live our lives. And so that's really important to me because I have to be authentic. I can only be me. I don't know how to be anybody else. And so when I show up, this is what you get. Either you love it or you hate it. And if you hate it, I don't know. But anyway, guys, thanks for humoring me and allowing me that moment. This week, we're going to dive into a topic that...
What about Jim?
We don't give a fuck about his week. I mean, what you do?
My week was dope. It's always dope.
Jim got tea over here. I just want to say, everybody else got water. This guy's got tea. To me, that's an indication that there is bacteria and an illness. If I come down with anything, I'm having my people sue you.
I have a cup of green tea twice a day. In the morning and at night. I miss my morning tea.
Is it a secret sponsor somewhere that we don't know about?
Yo, LLB and I are instantly annoyed when he comes out with his green tea for his speaking voice. He's so extra.
Like a green tea, that should have some scotch in
Jam
that.
is so extra. But Jam, honestly, how was your week?
My week was dope. I'm finally got my backyard together.
When we coming over?
We'll be able to go out there and do a show.
You the winner.
And you know what? I'm for that. I'm for that.
We'll get the
So,
fire pit. The fire pit.
I'm for that. Yeah, but I had a great week. I didn't have any, believe it or not, no bad deliveries, no bad landscaping. Everything. I did not have to go to Home Depot. Shout out to Lowe's. So I think I had a great week.
Shout out to Tua Vailoga and Tariq Evans for connecting with a 52-yard pass in the preseason game yesterday. Thank you.
Oh, wow. He was pretty excited. I guess he won something from FanDuel. I don't really know.
No. I got no money to put in the FanDuel. I ain't playing no games.
People really be in that.
Heavy.
Oh, before we jump into the topic, I mentioned this on my live this week. If y'all not following us, check out our Going Vocal IG page. Yes. We keeping that updated, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize my homegirl, Sen. Jasenia, she is a listener, she is a subscriber, and she had an idea for a show, and that was the show that we did last week on gender roles, and I omitted to recognize that during the taping of the show, so I wanted to take this opportunity to say both to Sen and Rasheen, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and subscribing, but thank you for also sending us great information. And I want to shout out my homegirl Tennille. It's her birthday this week.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Tennille. You know I love you and my Colombian family. And she's traveling this week with her wonderful family. But she had a casino night at her house.
Wow, that's dope.
So fly. So I'm told no. Okay. But here's the thing. So her family is Colombian and black, right? Clearly, all the black people came to make a come up. We all came with real money and cash.
Looking for the connect.
And she was in stitches. She was like, you do know it is illegal to gamble outside of the appropriate facilities.
As long when the government is not getting their cut.
So we came with, and I never have cash. I came loaded with cash, ready to make a come up. It was hilarious. It was
Wait, what were you gonna play?
I was gonna play blackjack, and I'm not an expert blackjack player, but I came with tons of friggin' cash. I was really thinking I was gonna gamble, and I wasn't the only one. It was at least 10 other people loaded with cash. Singles, 20s, 10s. People had big faces. They was ready to make a killing. Yo, I was so embarrassed. she was dying laughing. It was like the running joke. So thank you to Neil for always hosting a fantastic, event with great, people, great food, energy. I love spending time with that group of friends. But listen,
and if anybody got any troubles with gambling, it's always Gambling Anonymous.
Yeah, check in.
1-800 Gambler. Or something
yeah, check
like
in. We are not promoting that. This was not for real money. But it was just funny that I really didn't I know that it's illegal to gamble and run a pool hall, and so somebody would say, "Oh yeah, Tennille's running a speakeasy." It was so funny. I was like,
but you know what? That is kind of like normal in the hood. Like somebody have a card game at their house, and then a card game at the house, you got cash.
And I mean, she was in a very suburban. She was in Bergen County. I'm not gonna give out anybody's information, but she was in a very nice area, very affluent area. Why I would think that there was going to be a rent party like they used to do on Good Times. Why did I think that they were going to be doing that with cash? I just never thought about it.
I'm at a loss for the movie right now, so don't fault me. Remember the Bill Cosby movie and Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier. They went to this affluent neighborhood and the old girl got robbed. Those guys came in and robbed the spot. So shout out to you.
When they took she's like, I don't wear underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was in the suburban community. So it happens.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Yo, jumping into this week's topic. I've been struggling with this one a little bit. This week, your squad, your favorite squad, we want to really dive in and just be open and honest about the use of the N-word. Is it okay to use it? If so, are you think there's only segment of people who can use it? Or should we completely strike the word from our vocabulary and just not use it? Which I think. I mean, the use of the N-word, you see it in music, you see it in art, you see it in media. It's used very casually.
I say it so much. I say it so much, in conversation with my peers.
Okay.
And I try to be very mindful when I'm speaking to someone of a different race to not use it as frequent. But
why?
Because it's okay if I use it and speak it to my friends, right? Because we have the past to do it in a sense, right?
Do we really though?
We do.
Okay.
And then, in my opinion, and so when you're speaking to someone from another race, how dare they? It's not for you to use.
I guess that's where I struggle a little bit. I think because the origin of the word is so demeaning, so degrading, and it's been used as a weapon against African American people. Way back to the slavery days, it just has such a hurtful meaning to it. I think it all depends, and I know this is where I struggle, right? I feel like if someone is saying it with derogatory or malicious intent, I don't think that's okay, whether you are black, white, or red, blue, or green. If you are using that in a negative way as a weapon to demean somebody, I don't think it's okay. I don't care if you're black, white, or whatever.
But how could someone black use it in a derogatory way to another
We do.
black
They
person?
can.
We do, because think about it.
They
Think about when we have an attitude with somebody, the first word is nigga, I'm gonna fuck you up. So that's negative.
Not really.
And if
I'm like,
it is. No, yeah, but it is negative if I address you in a aggressive tone and I use the word nigga in that same aggressive tone, but at the same time I use it in a loving tone too.
Like a form of endearment.
Yeah, I think we've taken the power out of the. Here's the thing though. We say
it power.
We gave it a positive spin. But my thing is, see, I don't like to use the word, even though I do use it. I use it in regular dialogue, but I never address anybody in that way. So like, I might say the N-word in just regular conversation, which is wrong, but I might not call you that.
Well, why do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's...
Because I think it's a negative word. I think it is a negative word. I think the way we would give it a negative tag. And I think once we recognize that the word was offensive and you educate yourself on what it is to be who we are as black people, you realize that word was used as a way to hurt us. So now we use it when we relate with one another.
We have changed the meaning
absolutely.
of the word.
But
and
here's
it's
the
more
thing
a
then.
form of endearment
So-
as a weapon or a way to.
So with that being said, then my question to anybody, I always ask people all the time, if you're not offended when I call you that, why would you be offended if any other nationality called you
because
that?
it
And that would
was
be my
genuine.
question.
It was originated from people who had us in an oppressed state, right? So when you think of people that are outside of the black race utilizing it, it brings back those negative memories of the origin of the word.
Yes.
So that's where I feel like I struggle with it because, as I just said, if you are saying it in a way that's not oppressive, I feel like, okay. Because look, we have a lot of people in media and in artistic communities like rappers, like Eminem. He said he's a rapper, right? And he hangs out with a lot of black people. So he's gotten a pass and he's used the word nigga in a lot of his raps. Do we feel like that's not okay because he's white?
No, I don't feel like it's okay. I like you said, when someone from another race says it, it instantly puts a different taste in my mouth. A different feeling comes over me when someone else says it, like, or as opposed to one of my peers who says it. Like if one of my peers says it, I'm like, that nigga love me. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like,
but I feel like that's where it's contradictory. That's why I struggle with it. Like, it's either nobody gets to use it or you gotta be open-minded. And I know I struggle with that because I don't want someone who's not black to feel too comfortable with hurling that around, right? But I feel like if you know the person and you know their heart, right, and you know that they don't mean anything negative by it, should we hold them to that standard? That's kind of unrealistic because now with all of these dictionaries and the use of urban terms, do you think it's cultural appropriation if a person that's not black uses the N-word?
no, because I just.
But it has to be. You have to think it. If you don't want them to say it because what I'm hearing you say is you don't want someone who's not black saying it to you. But
Right.
and if you feel like they're using it and they don't have the right to use it, I feel like that's a form of cultural appropriation. Like you don't get to say that. That's our culture. We use it in our culture as a form of.
We didn't make the word up, so that's why
But agnostic of that. That's where I struggle a little bit because I feel like we've allowed some people to say it and then we're being very subjective to say, okay, you can say it, but you can't. J-Lo got killed for saying that shit. I didn't feel any way when J-Lo said it. I mean, she's taking a lot of black cops, so hey, maybe it's okay for her to say it.
But Fat Joe said it, but Fat Joe was saying, he gave the history of the Puerto Rican race. And so, but he gets a pass for saying
why should he get a pass as opposed to somebody
because
else?
when you look at the history of Puerto Rico, there's African traits in it. So,
yeah, but they pick and choose when they want to be Afro-Latina. There's some Spanish people that say we're Puerto Rican, we're Boricua, and we not Afro-Latina. We don't care about the slave trade. So don't be wish-washy with the shit.
Well, here's where I'm going with all that. Now, would you have a problem with we black? If I called you a black man, would you be offended?
No.
If a white guy came right now and said, hey, you're a black man, would you be offended?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I already know it. I don't need you to tell me that.
But it's the same, but I said it too.
Because you're saying it because we're the same thing.
So
but see, that's why I feel like that's subjective. That doesn't make it.
Listen, it's a description of who you are, no matter who says it. But it's not negative. But listen, when I say black man and they say black man, there's nothing negative in that, Lou.
But here's what I'm saying.
There's nothing negative in that.
This is what I was gonna say about the word when using the word nigga, right? Nigga,
it's a negative word.
But it's only negative.
It depends on how you use it.
Right, it's only negative if you see yourself that way. But if you know who you are, that word can offend you.
Okay, so then what's the difference if they say it then?
Because it offends me when they say it.
Why?
Because they always used it as
because that's their way of trying to get at you because they think that.
But I don't feel like
that doesn't bother me.
So I feel like that's subjective, right? So that's where I go back to what I was saying. It's like if you know somebody, right, and this is a person. Let's say it's a white person, right, and you guys are and this is a friend. This is somebody who you're a friend of, and they know you, that you respect them, you feel they respect you.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all having a conversation and y'all are describing something outside, and that white person says, "This nigga crazy,"
You need to relax.
but we say that all the time.
We say it. He needs to relax.
But he's not saying it to be
He
hurtful.
needs to relax.
So I feel the word is just used as a verb,
Yeah.
a noun, a proper noun, a pronoun. It's used so loosely. Sometimes we get too caught up in it and we're looking to be up in arms and to fight about it. And sometimes people don't mean it that way. And that's where I struggle with it, because I know the word is hurtful to our culture. So I don't want other cultures to feel too comfortable. But it's like, where do you walk that fine line? Because you have rappers who are not black, and that word nigga is used in rap so much.
Yeah.
It's so used. So we're going to tell a rapper who might be talented and say, hey, you can say any other thing. You can call women hoes, bitches, this, that, and other. Just don't say the N-word. I think that's being real subjective. So that's why I feel like I'm conflicted. I definitely don't want anyone who's not black to feel too comfortable saying that word and using it, because I think sometimes people be trying to be slick with the shit, right? But we're on to you. But we use that shit. I don't use the N-word.
But that's the point I'm saying.
I have used the N-word in a hurtful way to a black person. So does that give me a pass because I'm black? I shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
I have.
It shouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when people start bringing this topic up, I think it's very, very subjective. I have you as a black woman. I have used that word towards women, men, probably some old people, never children, and I've meant it to be hurtful. So do I get a pass
No,
because I'm
you
black?
should not.
But then nobody should say it.
Exactly.
But I still feel like I don't really see how you can say it in a bad way to someone else that's African.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Because there's so many other words that you can use.
No, I've used the word
But we
nigga.
use that. We use that in a negative way.
I've used
We
that.
do.
So
We
I've
do.
said to somebody,
all black people.
nigga, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Excuse me, audience, if anybody is, I think, let me
We've
just
all
dial
said
back. I want to be mindful that if you are not comfortable with the use of the N-word, this is probably not the show for you today, because I don't want this to be hurtful to anyone. I want to be respectful, but I'm trying to give a clear example. So if someone cuts me off and I'm driving, and hey, they almost hit my car and I got a baby in the car, I'm upset now. Hey, nigga, what the fuck are you doing? That is, I mean that to be aggressive, and I'm trying to hurt you. I have malicious intent. Do I get a pass because I'm black? Because I got melanin in my skin? No, I called him a nigga.
That's true.
I just don't see it as being.
So you don't feel like that's offensive to another black person?
No.
So then, I'm not saying you, Lou, but then that becomes the issue, because psychologically, if you accept it from me, then the way I interpret that is you actually see yourself to be that. Psychologically, because if I address you, nigga, I'ma fuck you up, and you don't get mad off the word nigga, and only thing you heard was fuck you up, that's a problem. Because if I hear it, I hear Shorty calling me a nigga. Who the fuck you calling a nigga? That's the first thing I'm gonna say. Because I'm not a nigga.
That's how I'm gonna react to it.
And I feel like we got bigger fish to fry than to be fucking with that word right now. Because I think that we need to love each other more, and nobody should use that
Our
word.
stance has always been that we as black people, we own that word. We get to use it loosely. But it's always been thought that we would be using it in a term of endearment.
Yes.
How we greet people, how we say goodbye, how we laugh like this nigga crazy.
Yeah.
But if I'm saying that and I'm aggressive towards somebody, that is no longer a term of endearment. And so just because I'm black, do I get a pass at that?
But here's what I'm thinking or saying, right? It said so much.
Yeah.
It said so much.
It's ingrained in our vocabulary.
So much that it only inflicts anger or it fixed something inside of me when it's said from another race.
Really?
Yes, but it says so much amongst us in the conversation. You remember that on the Kings of Comedy when Bernie Mac was saying, you seen that motherfucker? He owe me 35 motherfucking dollars. He said it like 25 times. You can use nigga the same way and won't feel a way about that.
I think you can. I think I would feel a way about it if somebody, even if they're black, was like, nigga, what you doing? I would be offended. And I think my first response is, who you calling a nigga? Because to me, that don't feel good. Don't sound like a term of endearment, right?
I don't accept it from anybody. Because I feel like none of us should be able to use it in that context. We took ownership of the word, but I think when we took ownership, we were supposed to put on a positive spin. So when you use it, what I'm saying, you just said, what I'm saying is, what you just said, in regular conversation, we use the word loosely, but never in a negative context.
But we do.
No, we do that, but what I'm saying is, in what way would either of you accept that word? I don't accept it. But I use it in conversation. I just don't direct it towards anybody.
I think
and I'm guilty of that.
Mindful that it is very common for black people to use it. So I don't immediately, I'm not often getting called nigga, right? So I'm not really talking like that.
I don't think too many girls say, guys, we guilty of that all the time.
So you think women don't use it?
I'm sure they do.
I'm not saying
I don't know.
I never heard
I'm letting you guys know
we're
we're mad at you men, we're calling you niggas.
I mean, no, I'm just, but men is different.
When we greet each other, yo, what up, my nigga?
Yeah.
What's good, my nigga? Oh, that nigga bugging right now.
That nigga funny as hell.
You must never met a female from New York because they use it just as much, especially a Harlem chick.
I'm sure
they using that shit from the Bronx.
Shout out
Leah. They using the word nigga just as much as the men do. So, but I guess women, when we're upset, and that's another example. So, like women, if we're having a conversation, I have been in conversations with women talking about men, and we have used the word nigga, and we did not mean that as a term of endearment. We meant it to say he ain't shit or talk down about this guy, and we have used the word nigga. Is that okay?
But what about when y'all playing and joking in a more positive spirit?
We've said it that way, but we also have used it. I know
everybody uses it when they're mad.
I've used it negatively.
I'm sure all women.
I'm guilty of it. And I guess I should have a little bit of shame about that because I know the origin of the word, but I just feel like when you're comfortable, so like I get accused of being able to code switch at the drop of a dime, but I get relaxed when I'm talking with my peers, right?
We all do.
And so that word, especially if I'm talking with like my siblings, my brother uses that word often, and I never blink an eye and bat an eye at it. I never bat an eye at it. I hear it. It's like I hear it and don't even hear it.
But I think like when I feel more hurt if a female be like motherfucker
rather than nigga.
Than nigga.
Because I guess we've grown to accept it.
That is when I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, this motherfucker mad. This nigga mad.
She's upset. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess we've just normalized the use of the N-word that I just know, I just process it. It's just, I just receive the message and nothing alerts me like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. That came out hurtful. I guess if I have never, but once or twice, I've come in contact with a person that wasn't black that has used the word nigga to me, and I definitely had an adverse reaction. That's one of the reasons why I'm afraid to live in the South, because I know they use it rampantly down there, and it is meant to be derogatory, so I stay away from those areas. But yeah, I would definitely correct somebody, and I have. But have you ever experienced someone outside of the black race calling you nigga? How did you respond to that?
Fuck you, suck my dick. You know, because he was riding by.
Okay.
Get out of here, nigga.
But not blatantly to your face.
No, not blatantly to my face.
I think.
But then you have to look at it too, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. You have to look at it too. Like other races, meaning our counterpart, they have gotten so keen and so sick in saying the word, not saying the word, but dissing you in a way without saying the word.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I feel like because as black people we haven't landed on the stance on the use or lack of using the word that has opened the door for other races to say, you motherfuckers don't really know how you feel about it. You tell us we can't say it, but you are using it like rampant and flippant. And so I think that's opened up a gap. And so people say, well, we don't mean it that way. We can say it now. And I'm not sure that I agree with that, right? Because of the stigma that's attached to the word, I think people have to be very careful.
Well, I've been called, as ironic as it was, by Caucasians and Africans.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let's dive into that.
And that was like the weirdest thing. It was South African. So it was like, so it's just weird because it threw you off for a minute because you. I don't know. I just know South Africa, but I know like I didn't even know how to take it, especially when it comes from what you think is your own. I didn't know how to take it, but then he proceeded, even it was a group of them, proceeded to go on and say you're not real black.
That's one thing about those subcultures. They definitely feel like they have the rights to be the blackest of the black.
Oh yeah, if you from Africa, a lot of people think they're way more blacker, if that's a thing. They definitely think American blacks are the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. I've had that interaction with people from other cultures that are also black, that I see as black, and one person from the Caribbean corrected me before and said, I'm not black, and they stated their culture.
And here's the thing, they actually think that we are the niggas.
Yeah, they
don't feel like they are. They feel like
they
when the world look at us, you black American, you the nigga.
Oh yeah, no,
which is
doubt
crazy.
about it.
That right there was the culture shock for me because I was at a young age. So it was just like, what the fuck?
When a person who you see as a black, as part of the black, or as part of the African diaspora, call you a nigga, are you offended by that?
Yeah, I was. Okay. I was confused at the same, but I was confused because it was like I'm looking at somebody that looks like me, and they say it in such a way like the intent was to hurt, but I was confused.
But that's what I'm saying. Do we give them a pass because
no,
they
I don't.
But
no,
that's what
I
I'm
don't.
saying.
I don't.
That's why I feel like you have to hear the word and with the intent that it's meant. If they're just saying, hey, my nigga, what's up? That doesn't hurt me. But if you have I don't give a damn if they're black, white, green, or purple. If they calling you a nigga in a hurtful way, I feel like it's game off.
Yeah.
It's game on there. Like,
but when have you ever called someone an African booty scratcher?
That's because I was a kid and didn't know anything.
Even older. You can get your African ass out of here.
I think that's something I probably said more when I was younger, not necessarily when I was an adult, because I think I'm more conscious and aware.
Did you ever have to go in on like one of those subcultures?
I have. I've had some tough conversations.
And you used some derogatory shit, right?
I have. I'm not gonna lie.
Go put on some fucking deodorant.
I haven't. I'm not proud of it, but I try, and I think I do a really good job at being culturally sensitive. I don't think it's always reciprocated
not
to
when
me.
it's on go though. Culturally sensitive.
Oh no, this on go is different. It's knuckle up, knuckle up. But I'm fortunate enough that I've been around so many diverse cultures. I just treat everybody with respect. That's not a flex. It's not a flex. I just treat my thing is when I just said this to somebody in the office. When I walk in the door, there are people that are cleaning. There are people that are providing security. From the time I walk in the door, everybody from that front door to the CEO's office, I treat the same way. And I treat them with the highest amount of respect. And so I expect the same back. Because I don't care who you are, I treat you with respect. And I think that's why I have not had a ton of blatantly racist or culturally insensitive experiences, because I treat everybody with respect and I be in the moment with people. But I think the use of the N-word, we so wish-washy about it, right? Like you have your perspective and I think that's valid. Like you don't feel offended if another black person is saying it, whether we mean it as a term of endearment or we mean it as to call you a name or make you feel other than. I feel like that's conflicting. I don't give a fuck who says it. If you're saying it with malicious intent and to be hurtful, I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. Like I said, green, yellow, you don't get a pass. I'm stopping you in your tracks. And I just always felt bad about how people attacked J-Lo, because I felt like that was artistic, like that she was speaking to the black people, and that's how we talk. So
not only that, she didn't write the lyrics.
that was
Ja Rule wrote that. And if I
so
look
he
like
probably
this,
didn't think it
if
was
Irv
anything wrong
Gotti
with
and
it.
Ja Rule didn't think it was an issue, then they embraced her as family. So they didn't think anything was wrong with it, nor did they think that the black community would give it a backlash. I'm sure they definitely would have did
Here's
that.
the thing. I don't think the black community was really up in arms
No,
about it.
I don't think so
I
either.
think that
I don't think
became
so
a
either.
snowball. That came from being a snowflake to a snowball because some of these woke black people jumped on the bandwagon with that. And now we all want to be so woke, we started jumping on the bandwagon. Because I don't think, Matt, the average person was not offended. I'm telling you right now, I played that song.
It didn't
I
bother
didn't
me.
think anything was wrong with it. And so I was a little caught off guard when all the backlash came. I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't
To me, I think I have the Antoine Fisher syndrome.
Which is?
You know how like when they were the lady that took him in and it was all boys, and the mother just nigga, and she said by the way they called the way she said it, we knew which one she was talking about, and they just didn't take it no other way. Like they didn't even at one point it was like I didn't even know my name was Antoine. I thought it was nigga. It was said so much.
So I guess that's where Shamoni has a moment of shame. I've never seen the whole movie. I saw a little piece.
That was a sad movie.
It was sad.
It almost took me.
I don't know that scene you're talking about, but I'm gonna take y'all word for it.
It was a few times in that movie. Your man Jam C, the fan favorite, almost broke a tear. It was like several moments in the movie.
Are you gonna be okay?
Nah, Lord.
LLB.
You already know I was crying.
LLB being Shakespeare's story.
You ever go to the movie? And I don't mean to get on top, but real quick, you ever go to a movie theater and let's say even if you out on a date and you looking at a movie, you looking at it and it's like you gotta look away from the screen because you can't be tough no more. So it's like, where the popcorn at? Like I'm like, whoa.
Damn, I wish they turned it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
my allergies acting
real
up.
powerful movie.
But listen, people, y'all hearing our voices and our perspective as we dive into that. JMC, if they want to send in their feedback, they want us to bring back this conversation, where should they hit us up at?
Goinvocal at gmail.com. That's GOINVOCAL at gmail.com.
Okay, what's our website? What's our webpage?
www.podpage.com/going/dash vocal.
Let's try that
You
again.
just confused
www.podpage.com/going-vocal.
There he goes.
There
Yay!
Oh, yo, and you could go to our Instagram page.
Yep.
You can go to our Instagram, Going Vocal. Hashtag get your shit together, GYST. Hashtag Going Vocal. Hashtag no caption needed. Hashtag talking because we got lips.
Because we got lips. Y'all know that's what we do. That's why we wanted to talk about this. Because I just been hearing people say, remove it from the vocabulary. And I'm like, that's hard to say. It's been so indoctrinated in the black culture. Like, my mother uses it. Did your parents use the word?
So let me ask y'all this. This question.
Wait, answer the question. Did your parents use it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think your mother's using that now?
No, not now.
My mother.
This is no that.
My mother had to be really pissed.
Prior to my mom passing away, right? So she'd be like, "Come with me, take me to the store." I always got to drive her somewhere, right?
Of course.
So here I am taking the back routes through, like we're going to like Livingston Mall or in Millburn or something like that. She said, "Damn, the niggas live up here too." I'm like, "My black people live everywhere. What are you talking about? Relax. This is not Jim Crow days. Like, yeah, he live up here too. They money green just like everybody else."
I know my mom does use it.
My mom says it all the time.
I've seen my mom. I've seen and I've heard my mother use it as a form of endearment, but I've also heard her use it in a derogatory. So I think, do you use it in front of your children?
I have, but it's probably not. I haven't used it towards her. She probably heard me on a conversation saying
I
it,
agree.
Okay.
but on the phone saying it, but never towards her.
Yeah, I've never said it towards my children, but they probably have heard me use it. So then that begs to bring up the conversation is how will we ever remove it from our vocabulary? You know, we're not saying it to our children, but if they've overheard us using it, that's essentially giving them the green light to also incorporate it into their vocabulary. How do we stop using it?
Here's what I was thinking. I think we have to try to minimize using it at home, and then we definitely have to teach the children the use of the word, the root of the word, and why we use it. Even though it's not a positive word, just like we tell our kids not to cuss, though kids are going to do what they do when they get older, we just encourage them to choose another word.
Do you think realistically we will ever stop using the word?
No.
I don't either.
As long as you got hip hop music, you niggas.
I think that people should learn how to code switch. They should get their code switching skills, hone in on that, because it's very important to know your audience and who you're around and where you're speaking, because some people could take it, you know. And here's the thing: will it ever go away? If we keep using it, how do you expect the other races not to?
That's
you know
what
I'm
I've been saying. Like, if we're
using
using it, they're gonna be like, "You, how can you tell us not to use it and you're using it?" I honestly don't think the word will ever be removed from the vocabulary. I think we'll probably get to a place where, you know, like we're at the point now. I feel like we're fringing on shaming people for using the word, and I'm not entirely comfortable with that. I believe heavily in the use of free speech, right? And so there are words that other cultures use that mean similar things as the N-word, right? And I don't think they're removing them, so that's where I struggle. I feel like people should be able to say what they want. Now, you know, you say that at your own risk, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, but I'm not one to try to tell people what they can and can't say. If you're a person that's not black and you feel like you want to roll with the N-word, go ahead and say it, but that could be at your own risk.
I think
and your career.
I think the N-word
and your growth.
I think the N-word, for rappers, it was meant as our own language. So we didn't really realize how big hip hop was gonna be. So we spewed it in our bars. I was really doing it for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing it for them. So when we use it
since to be relatable?
No, it's just because it's our culture. We've been using that word so long, it's become our culture. So it's just like what you were saying, how we interact with each other. So it's almost like our foreign language. We took a word and we made it our language. The problem is it got outside of the hood. Once they got outside of the hood, everybody felt like they could say.
Once rap got outside of the
hood. But that's what I mean. No, that's what I'm saying. It got outside the hood because of that. So once that became that, everybody started feeling deemed to use it because we use it so free.
So we've seen some of our rappers that started in very urban environments have now moved into those boardroom seats, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'll give you an example. So Jay-Z, he's a billionaire. Everybody is touting his accomplishments. Hov is definitely in my top 5.
Probably a bad example.
Do you think Jay-Z is using the word nigga?
Probably a bad example.
No, yeah.
Why?
No.
The reason why I say it's a bad example is because if Jay-Z is in these boardrooms with some of these guys, it's because they need something from him. And they're willing to accept anything that he says.
Agnostic of who's getting what. Do you think Jay-Z, with all his accolades and how he's accented to the 1%, do you think he's still using the word nigga?
Yes.
I say yes.
Yes.
I say yes. So then that's where I feel like sometimes it can be bullshit, right? That's why I feel like we gotta we're picking and choosing, and we're being very subjective. And to me, that weakens the argument for other people not to use it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you mean that's what I wanted to say. So if we're at a cocktail party or somewhere where there's predominantly white, right?
Okay.
And so that we're having a small conversation, and they're like, "Oh, this nigga is funny."
No, I'm gonna correct somebody. I'm gonna correct them.
Hold up.
They said those poor niggers over there.
No. You gotta
correct them. I'm comfortable enough to correct people.
That shit is just whoa.
And have the appropriate conversation with them.
No, at that point, when they say something, this nigger is funny. Like,
yeah.
no, this nigger's about to fuck you up. Like, this nigga about to do.
That's why I just think it's subjective. But listen, y'all check in and tap in with us. Let us know what you think. Are you using the N-word? Have you become so conscious of the negative connotation associated with the use of the word that you've removed it from your vocabulary? Tap in with us. Hit us up on the email. Let us know what you think.
I do have one more question. Donald Trump.
What about him?
He's a nigga. He's a nigga.
I'm not touching that. I don't know if I'm touching that. I think he's a lot of things. I'm not sure that he's a nigga.
He does niggerish shit.
He does. Like stealing from the White House.
But that's the point I'm making is that word shouldn't be defined by color. It should be defined by description of
your behaviors.
So that's the point I'm making.
But we know that's not the case in the origin of the word.
And I think I'm sorry. But again, when you go back to rap, I think when you go back to hip hop, I think that's the picture hip hop was trying to paint. I don't think it was trying to paint by color. I think it was trying to paint by description of behavior.
Okay.
So that's all. So if you want to know if we continue to use the word, let's take the color out of it.
Listen, I just encourage people.
Hard.
Yeah,
no, I know, but
hard.
only we can do that.
It's
only
hard.
we can do that.
I think we can lead the charge on that, but I think there are some other words that you can utilize to replace the use of the N-word. I mean, again, I think it takes time. But listen, I know one word that I learned a long time ago. I worked for an organization, and then there was some legal documentation that came up, and there was a word I didn't understand, and I kept saying, "What the hell is a paramour? A paramour?" It was proceedings for a divorce, and the husband was cheating on the wife, and that's what they call the side chick, a paramour.
Wow.
I fell in love with that word. I fell in love. So I know it's probably not a word that people are using a lot. So whenever I'm in a conversation and it's referring to a mistress or a side chick, I throw that paramour out there. I love using that
so
word.
I've been fucking people up back in the day in the hood, like, bitch, I got a paramour. I got 2 paramours.
You ain't that motherfucking paramour.
That's it. Fucking paramour.
Yeah, so that was good. But listen, people, again, tap in with us, share your feedback. I just say expand your vocabulary. There's probably other words that you can use.
Sit your nigga up.
Given the negative connotation and the origins of the N-word, but let us know. Are you using it? You're not using it? Tell us what you guys do. And listen, we're going to transition. My favorite part of the show, get your shit together. Let's let it fly. Because this week has been a lot of crap happening. We gonna fire some people up today. Who's going first?
Let me go first. This one has been out a little while, but it was Bill Brooks. He needs to get his shit together. He's a learned police officer who it was a couple in the park after dark, and he was issuing out a citation. So the guy signed the citation, but the young lady kept asking him his badge number and what's his name. Just wanted to know who he was or whatever. And so the lady said she wasn't signing the citation, right?
Okay.
By signing the citation, it just all she was doing was the omission of guilt,
Okay.
right? But she refused to sign it. He then proceeded to forcefully arrest her with the handcuffs and everything, and she's screaming. Pulls out his taser gun and all this stuff, and this is the problem. This is why I feel as though Bill Brooks needs to get his shit together. Because when you're policing, a lot of this stuff is discretionary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were in the park. It was after hours. I get it. Yo, it's too late for y'all to be in the park. Go ahead. Get out the park. Too much shit happening. Or, I even get where you need to run the information. I get it. You even have to do that. But as far as being excessive with force and yelling and screaming and throwing it to the ground, pulling out your... Come on, Mr. Bill Brooks. Get your shit together.
Yeah, get your shit together, Bill. We ain't feeling you. Yo, I got 2. One is going to be real quick. But the other one I need to read because I want to blast them real good. So this week, comedian Ari Spears decided to fat shame Lizzo. And I do not want to be contradictory and start shaming him because he ain't much to look at, right? And he corny. I've always said he's corny. I literally went to one of his shows and I left. I know he still got paid, but it was corny. Like, I love comedy. He always been a hater. He always been trying to come for other comedians who have accelerated past him. You ain't funny, nigga. You ain't funny. You corny.
You use the word.
And I did that purposely. I did that purposely because I want to show you the emphasis. I mean that hurtfully. I don't mean that as a form of endearment. Yo, shame on you, Aries Spears, as a black man. If Lizzo isn't your type, that's fine. You are probably not her type either. So I just want to say, yo, you need to get your shit together. They on his ass. He trying to act like he don't care, but your ticket sales is double wood anyway. So ain't nobody really checking for you. So get your shit together. If she ain't your type, why you even gotta speak on it? Yeah, so get your shit together,
You're gonna be
Aries
looking
Spears.
for Lizzo when it get colder.
Listen, my second one is about a bunch of Republicans who always getting their hands caught in a cookie jar more than other political parties. So of course we know President Joe Biden is trying to do some debt forgiveness for student loans. I have a shitload of student loans and I will not qualify, so I'm still on the hook with Sally Mae. They'll be coming to collect my earrings any day now. But some of the Republican lawmakers who are coming out and speaking out against the debt forgiveness plan are also people who have received some debt forgiveness. Because these jokers were getting fucking PPP loans for their businesses. So 2.3 million for just this one small group. Mullins had 1.4 million in PPP loans, and they was gonna come after his ass. They forgave the debt. Hearn had 1 million. Kelly had almost $987,000 worth of PPP loans. Gatz $482,000 worth of PPP loans. Green $183,000 worth of PPP loans that they collected, and now they're forgiving their debt, as opposed to prosecuting them the same way they would have done if it would have been anybody from this squad sitting at this table.
I would have been going to jail with Chanel.
Yeah. All 6 lawmakers received PPP loans by owning or being affiliated with businesses eligible under the program. For example, Hearn's Food Company received PPP loans. Kelly's car dealerships, all of them received PPP loans, and some of them, the applications had fraudulent information. So how dare you come out when you guys were double dipping, you're already affluent, and you claim some of these loans, and now you're getting that debt forgiving so that you don't have to repay it back. And the irony that you think the average citizen, who's in many cases encouraged to go to college, to get a collegiate education so that they can get a good, decent career to take care of their family, and now they have this burden of these loans on their back for 20 and 30 effing years, and you got the nerve to fix your raggedy ass mouth and say that they can't get that debt forgiven when you were dipping in the cookie jar for your fucking business so you could stay ahead of the game. Shame on you. Y'all need to get y'all shit together. Biden, I'll say round them numbers up. Lower that scale on how much raise that scale on how much you need to pay, because even if people are in middle class, they still need to get some debt forgiveness on the loans. It tears your credit score up. It makes it hard for you to even live. I'm living and breathing that every day for my master's degree. So yes, get y'all shit together, Republican lawmakers who got the nerve to be talking about debt forgiveness, and y'all got millions and millions of dollars of debt forgiveness for them damn PPP loans. Shame on y'all.
And a master's degree, you can't find no money for that.
Ain't nothing.
No money for master's degree.
Oh, Sally Mae gonna get it. She gonna get it with no Vaseline.
I'm talking about like
no
help. No financial help for master's. You can get help for PhDs, but not for master's and bachelor's.
I'm gonna piggyback off both of you guys.
That shit got me mad. Y'all saw how hype I was? I was ready.
My get your shit together is going out to the black culture. Over the last few weeks or a few days, I saw the Aries Spears thing. I just have an issue with how we deal with each other and we put it on social media. When I think a lot of these guys have platforms that, one, if I feel a certain way about somebody in that forum, I'm not going to attack Sister Lizzo on social media. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, these guys have the power to run into each other and say, hey, you know, sis, you know, maybe do it, maybe go about doing it this way, but not that way, because I don't like the way it make you look, and I'm a fan of yours. Whether I'm a fan or not, you doing something positive. I think we do that too much to each other, and then we allow the other culture vultures to jump on top of it and spin it, and it just keeps going and it keeps going. So my Get Your Shit Together is going out to Ari Spears and everybody else who's doing that, and because I think that's real ill. I think we need to give each other more love than hate, especially in public, because it's already enough of us.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to be fake with it. I think you should live your authentic self.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Private.
No, absolutely.
And I
absolutely.
think that stands against races and things like that.
But I wouldn't shoot nobody down.
If
To make myself feel better about me, I wouldn't do that.
Somebody
Just
look
don't
like
like
you
it.
don't
Look at it.
look past that shit. You don't gotta call
And
nobody.
that's one of the bad things about social media. Everybody got a fucking voice.
Everybody's
Everybody
talking
got a
because
voice.
they lips, right?
Everybody got a
And
voice.
people feel like they could just say something sideways just to get the audience in.
And the sidebar, I'm on the police department asked, my next couple of Get Your Shit Together gotta be about the
Yo, it's
police.
been a couple of
absolutely.
times.
They
They've been wild.
They been wild.
They just had a police officer who resigned because of his behavior. The one with the pregnant lady, you talked about that, right? Yeah, he resigned, that old asshole. But listen, we want to shout out some of our guests that have previously been on the show that had businesses. We want to make sure we continue to plug their businesses. We had NFL player Kareem Huggins here.
KJ Collection.
Yeah, he has the KH collection.
Sorry.
Check Kareem Huggins out on IG. Again, like LLB said, it's the KH collection. Really good bracelets and jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
We had Lakeisha and V here. V owns, and she's a CEO of Grace and Mercy Exterminating. So, you know, if you got little critters and you want to prevent little critters, check them out under Grace and Mercy Exterminating on IG.
Shit, don't call me white girl, need to be calling them. With that little mouse right there.
Yeah, tell them Going Vocal sent you. Check them out. Don't forget, if you have insurance questions or insurance needs, reach out to Will Smith from New York Life. I'm sorry, not Will Smith.
I'm about to cry.
Will Hawkins, oh my God, charge it to my head, not my heart. Oh my God, Will Hawkins at New York Life. You can check him out. And he's on IG, so check him out if you want to go back, see our portfolio and our session we did on the miseducation of life insurance. Go check Will out. There's information, and Will's coming back for part 2 in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a deeper dive on some of those areas of content. So stay tuned. You guys had great questions. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
We need to learn a way how to freak these funeral homes.
Yeah, so we're gonna have someone come in for the mortuary business that's gonna really tell us the do's and don'ts and give us that
I
background.
don't think they'll give us too much.
They're not gonna give us too much, and that's fair. And I'm thinking we may be on site at the mortuary to give it that creepy Friday the 13th kind
I
of
wonder if
feel.
they'll let me test out a coffin.
Like, get in it?
Yeah.
Yo, would you get in it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, we're filming that. We're filming
this
that.
shit comfortable.
So what you want to know if you get yo, we're going to
I
go
want
down the
memory
dark
foam.
path. We're going to go down the dark
phone.
path. This guy wants memory foam. But listen, continue to look for our content every week. You don't have to wait a week. That's the beauty of the podcast. If you can't listen on Wednesday when we put it out live, you can listen on Thursday, Friday. If you go into the gym, that's how I started listening to podcasts. I had a really long ride to work. And so right after I played my gospel music, I put on my podcast. So check us out. We have a great inventory of shows up there. So cherry pick them. We also want to give a shout out to TheraCouch.
Yes,
we had
yes.
a licensed therapist
Yes.
here. If you or anyone in your family have any mental health or counseling needs, go on IG, check out Ashiba Ellis. She's a licensed practitioner.
Yeah.
She's not bootleg at all. She is licensed. She's got initials behind her name for a reason. Even who was it that got the initials wrong? Was it You Jam? It was You Jam.
Yeah.
So TheraCouch, check them out. Check them out on IG if you have any counseling or therapy needs. Tap in with Ashiba Ellis on TheraCouch.
Oh, what about Trevor and Marlo?
Oh, Trevor
On
and
the spot
Marlo.
contracting.
On the
On
spot?
the spot. They're on the spot. Get your shit together on the spot.
Yeah, check out on the spot. If you need some contracting needs, check them out. And yo, people, with that being said, that's our show today. Peace out.
Peace.
Everybody tune into the Pod Squad now.